As far as what people think of what I'm doing, I don't sit here with a perspective of what I want people to think of me. I'm not there wanting everyone to say this is a great story. There's negative stuff that comes with it, but whether you like it or hate it, people are going to have to get used to it because it's going to keep coming.
Ryan Peake grew up in the northern part of Perth in Western Australia. The son of a bricklayer, he picked up a golf club at an early age and showed a unique, natural talent. But the Peake family was quickly confronted with the expense of supporting a competitive youth golfer.
We weren't rich by any means and, we kind of just scraped by.
People can say golf's not a rich sport. It is. If you don't have money, it's tough. And that was... That's what I found the hardest.
As a kid, you don't realise how much strain it's putting on them.
Despite the financial challenges, Ryan quickly became one of the most accomplished youth players in the country. In 2010, he was named Junior Golfer of the Year after winning the Junior National Championship and qualifying to play in the Australian Open.
He played with Cam Smith. Cam Smith, who won the British Open, was number 2. Ryan Peake was outplaying the person that became Australia's best golfer.
While life on the golf course was coming easy, life at school was not. Ryan became the target of intense bullying in middle school and early in high school, and eventually dropped out.
We knew staying at school was not going to help him. We needed to get him out of there.
But at that time, when I got 16, 17, I was finding ways to drink and have fun at parties, and I would start to prioritise hanging out with my friends on a weekend over golf. I just fell out of love with the game. I was burnt out from it. I started to have signs of undiagnosed depression. I wasn't practising. I was getting pounded out there on the golf course and felt like life sucked.
He was incredibly unhappy with where he was in life, but just didn't know what to do about it. And then all of a sudden, there's this group of guys riding Harleys who would literally die for each other. And it's intoxicating.
At 19, Ryan quit golf altogether. He took a job as a groundskeeper at his local course and began to develop a social circle that included current and future members of the Rebels Motorcycle Club, a notorious biker gang with chapters across Australia. In 2013, he officially joined the Rebels MC.
It was my first taste of having a proper friendship. I'd never had that growing up, and I had finally found it. You can say I found it in the wrong place, but your mates, they would die for you, and that's 100%. That lifestyle was a lot different to what people would expect of me, especially my family, so I kept it a secret from them. I was living these 2 lives. Finally one night, I was about to go out on my bike and Dad just pulled me up in the driveway. He just said, listen, he's like, I'm just going to ask you one question and I don't care what the answer is. You just got to just be truthful to me. You're in a bikie club. I just said, yeah, I am. Yeah, I can definitely see the disappointment in it.
We knew where it was going to end up. My wife told him once, within 12 months you'll be in jail. It only took 6.
There was a drug dealer that lived up around the area where our clubhouse was, and he threatened to shoot up my president at the time. We got word that he had gone and sourced a firearm. We thought, all right, let's find out where he is and we'll have a chat with him. With these people, you can't call them up on a phone and just say, hey, mate, when you say this, it makes me feel sad. You can't speak to them like that. You speak their language. We've pulled up at the front of the house and garage door just half opened. I just seen this guy duck out underneath and he just grabbed his jacket and lift up his jacket. I just see like this sawn-off shotgun and he just put his hand on it. I just kicked him as hard as I could and then put him straight on the floor and got on top of him and started getting into him. Then a handful of guys come and started attacking him with baseball bats and things. We just drove off and went back to where we were, and I think we actually scratched our head and just said, what the just happened? It just escalated so quick.
Ryan was arrested 2 weeks later while working at Lakeland's country club and pled guilty to a grievous bodily harm charge to avoid trial. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison.
Ryan went to Hakea prison. Hakea prison is the worst jail in Australia. It is literally infested with rats, with cockroaches.
The cell stunk and my little tiny mirror on the wall was just scratched up with graffiti, and once that door locked and you hear the first padlock go and then the second padlock go, you kind of look at it and you think, doesn't matter how hard I try and get out that door, I'm not getting out that door, and you're stuck. I was at Hakea for 366 days.
After his first year of incarceration, Ryan was transferred to a nearby medium security prison where he was reunited with several members of his biker club. Then, with 2 years left on his sentence, Ryan unexpectedly received a note that someone wanted to be added to his prison call list. The name was Richie Smith, a legendary coach in Australia and a mentor to Ryan during his junior golf days.
At the age of 15, I met him for the first time, and he's a little bit of a misfit, and I always liked him. I didn't even know he was in jail. So when I found out about it, then I thought I'd make contact.
I remember just making that phone call and I sit there and I was so nervous. I was just like, you know, this guy's coaching major winners. He's coaching best players in the world. I'm sitting in jail.
The first conversation I had with him, there was no golf involved. I just wanted to make sure that he was all right.
Then after a few phone calls, he just asked me, like, you know, what are you going to do when you get out of jail? And he just kind of went quiet. And then he just said, what about golf? I just laughed. I was like, mate, like, I haven't touched a club in 7 years. I'm not going to touch one for at least another couple of years.
I don't think he took me seriously, but I did.
I finally, you know, made a decision. I was like, all right. I said, Richie, I'll give it a crack. I said, but to be 100%, I said, I need to leave the club. He said, that's not a decision for me to make. That's up to you. So I did. I spoke to a few people, obviously members that were in the club with me, and everyone agreed and just backed me. And they said, we're back you 100%.
In jail, a bikie patch is like a suit of armour. It protects you.
I put myself on a limb, you know, leaving the club halfway through my jail sentence and saying, no, I'll finish jail by myself.
He was like the slowest gazelle on the Serengeti for a while there. I don't think Richie, in his wildest dreams, thought this guy's genuinely going to be a contender. He doesn't have access to golf clubs.
Without many options for training, Ryan quickly went to work, transforming his body in prison, eventually losing close to 80 pounds. Then, after convincing the parole board that he had left his motorcycle club, he was moved to a minimum security prison where he lobbied to have access to golf clubs. As Ryan neared the end of his sentence here, he began a reintegration program which granted him a certain number of hours outside of the prison. He used this time to practice with Richie Smith and even play in local tournaments.
He ended up going back to his original club, Lakelands, and playing in the club championship while he was on day release.
I mean, the last time I was at that golf course, I was driven away in a cop car, and now I'm rocking up there to play in the Saturday comp, and I shot 6 under 66, bogey free, and won the comp for the day. But I remember just saying in my speech, thanks everyone for the day and enjoy your nights, but I'm heading back to jail.
Walks out the door and then spends that night back in prison. At that point, the person that Ryan was completely different to the person he was when he went in 5 years earlier. This was a man on a mission. The one lever he could pull was golf, and he was going to pull on it like hell.
It's professional sport, so one day he'd be great and the next day he'd play like and then we'd have to start all over again. But that took about 2 years to get through. Then he got some starts in some bigger events, and then those results started to really improve. I was surprised that he was actually able to get there so quickly.
Most sports people struggle to play at their best if they've taken 6 months off. This guy took off 7 years, 5 of those years were in jail. I mean, that's freak show stuff.
In 2024, Ryan completed the Australian PGA qualifying school and received his full card, which qualified him for a start at the 2025 New Zealand Open.
I got off to a good start. I had good first couple of rounds.
After the second day, I was thinking, this is great. This is going to be a great stepping stone. And the third day came around and it's like, well, hang on, this could actually happen.
I was like, I can win this thing. I mean, I'm 4 shots back, but just don't tap out on the last round.
For Ryan Peake, it's been a heck of a week.
As the final round progressed, Ryan slowly climbed the leaderboard, and heading into the final hole, he had built a 1-shot lead. It was the biggest tournament of his life, and it was his to lose.
I can remember watching him on the tee thinking, why are you taking so bloody long? He was overthinking everything, and you could see he was really nervous.
You can imagine the emotions that are going through his mind right now.
There was a little anguish on the face, and for good reason.
He's got maybe a 20-metre chip shot, which shows you how bad the shot was.
He's just battling the nerves right now, trying to keep himself calm.
The only thing I was thinking about was that I needed to make up and down to win.
That hole has all of a sudden shrunk, hasn't it? I'm nervous just watching it.
Then I had this 9-10 footer.
For the 31-year-old who's endured all of what life has thrown at him and a chance to win a life-changing tournament here at the New Zealand Open.
I just wanted this so bad for him. This thing, it would have set up his whole life.
Peake is perfect. What a story here at Melbourne. The most unlikely champion.
When he actually sunk her, I just burst into tears.
Everyone knew it before Ryan. Ryan had to believe it himself that I can do this.
Pretty lost for it at the moment. Life-changing. Yeah.
It was just that little piece of the puzzle that I could put back in place to try and, create some good memories back from some that everyone has gone through. And there's still a lot more pieces of the puzzle to go, but we know where they are. We just got to grab them and stick them back. Everyone makes mistakes in their lives, some bigger than others, but if you take responsibility for it and you just be open and honest, no one can criticise you. But it's a story that's never going to leave me, and it's always a reminder that this is a second chance.
What Ryan's story shows is at 1 minute to midnight, you can still make a change. Keep fighting even when the odds are so insurmountable. Never give up.
I'm just getting back to where I always dreamt of being in life, and I've gone through the ups and downs to do that, but I've fallen back in love with my childhood sport. It's an unfinished story, but that's a good feeling.